26 October 2023. Soon it will be a year since Reverse 1999 released, and for this occasion we're getting a very powerful unit added into the game, Lucy. Welcome to her build guide. Lucy is the first 6-star intellect hyper carry in the game. She deals reality damage, forces a Flado's advantage, and she is able to permanently self-upgrade her cards during combat, thanks to the accumulation of dynamo stacks. She is one of, if not the, most powerful unit in the game, thanks to her Flados and kit. But let's go ahead and learn how she works. Her Insight 1 unlocks the dynamo stacks. When Lucy gains Moxie, she gets 2 stacks. When an ally gains Moxie or Eureka, she will gain 1. Whenever Lucy reaches 20 stacks of dynamo, she gains Advancement, which will present you with a window asking you to choose one between Skill 1, Skill 2 or follow-up attack to permanently power up. Once chosen, the ability stays upgraded for the whole fight. Dynamo goes back to 0 and you can now start accumulating it again. You will also be able to visually see Lucy's upgrading process by looking at the ability discs materializing on her back. Insight 2 is a classic 10% crit rate, and Insight 3 introduces new mechanics. After casting the ultimate, Lucy will now enter Leadership, a force field buff that increases all allies' damage if stronger Flados by 10%. And immediately casts the follow-up attack Conservation of Energy as a rank 2 incantation. It's a mass attack dealing 100% reality damage to all enemies. It will consume 10 stacks of dynamo to add 50% penetration rate. If permanently upgraded, the attack also grants an extra 50% reality damage to target below 50% HP, ignoring dodge and bypassing reflect or riposte. Lucy will also automatically cast this follow-up attack when an enemy dies during the fight, gaining 10 dynamo and 1 stack of data iteration, a 4% attack buff that can stack up to 5 times. Now we know at this point that Lucy is able to stack dynamo, cast follow-up attacks automatically, buff herself and allies, all just by using her insight. Let's now check her abilities. Her first skill is called Power of Speed. It's a one-target attack dealing 200 to 500% damage depending on rank. It consumes stack of dynamo to deal more damage. Once upgraded through advancement, it will become a mass attack, dealing damage consuming more dynamo for a boost. Electric Surge is her second skill. It's a mass attack dealing 100 to 375% reality damage to 2 enemies. When consuming dynamo, the attack will target 1 more enemy or deal more damage if there are less than 3 enemies. Once upgraded through advancement, Electric Surge will also add up 200% of Lucy's attack as Genesis damage to the original hit. It will also consume 5 extra dynamo charges to add 1 more target or deal more damage. Her ultimate is where things get serious. It's called a Step Forward and it's a self-buff. Lucy enters Pragmatism for 2 rounds. During this state, attacking any Flados will count as having the advantage, which is 30% damage plus 10% from Pragmatism. Lucy also gains 1 stack of data iteration and loads 2 charged ammunition. The ammunition will give Lucy 10 dynamo stacks right before attacking. If the ultimate is upgraded, she will also gain 1 Moxie on top of all the rest of the buffs. There was a lot, so I will be doing a recap after the team building section. For now, let's move on to the portraits. Lucy is a limited character, so obviously her portraits are all really good, but not everyone can get to P5, so P2 or P3 should be the good stopping point for spender or big savers. P2 is by far the best portrait to stop at. It will increase the duration of Pragmatism and Leadership by 1 round and the damage bonus from the Flados advantage to 20%. This means you will spend 1 more turn bypassing the Flados system and dealing 20% more damage. P3 is another good one, boosting the attack bonus from data iteration to 6% and increasing the maximum amount of stacks to 2. This means you'll end up having an undispellable 42%, a 22% increase from the base. However, it's important to remind everyone that you do not have to get any portraits to enjoy Lucy. She's going to be able to clear all content at P0 without any issue, so only get copies if you've been saving for her or if you are a spender. Lucy is going to be available through the whole patch and be the unit focused in the anniversary event, so when it comes to Psychube, you will be able to get her best in slot for free from the event shop. It's a very niche and specific Psychube, currently only usable to the fullest by Lucy only, but it's a very good one for her, so you can safely use that. When it comes to resonance, mainly we are looking at a crit build in almost all scenarios, but if for whatever reason you feel like having more survivability, here's a more defense-oriented option. Now we're finally on the most important part of the guide, the team building. Considering how special Lucy is, team building can be very easy or very specific depending on how you play her. For example, if you're slotting her in to help your main DPS with damage, then she's pretty much good in any team. Think of her like 6 for this type of role. If you're looking to use her as a hyper carry, then you want to get the most out of her team. For this, you should run characters that boost her damage, generate Eureka or Moxie for the team, or debuff the enemies. The best in slot team for this is with Getian, Six, and Vila. This team provides a straight 40% reality damage bonus while under Getian domain, plenty of reality and other debuffs from Getian and Six, plenty of buffs from both Six and Vila, and of course Eureka and Moxie generation from Rusalka state. If you're missing any of these characters or if you're a new starting player, then the most optimal way would be to replace them with the next best options. For example, if you don't have Getian, you can use Isolde or Bicorn. If you don't have Six, you can use Sonetto. And for healing, if you don't have Vila, you can use Tooth Fairy or Medicine Pocket. In the future, you could also go for characters like Kekania or Mercuria to play with Lucy if you'd like to focus on more alternative playstyles, or just wait for the reruns to pick up the key units for the God team. Okay, now that we know pretty much everything about Lucy, let's do a recap. The way you want to play Lucy is to try and accumulate as much dynamo as possible so you can get to the permanent upgrades. Once you upgrade all of her skills including the follow-up attack, her ultimate will also become upgraded. You want to get her ult up as soon as possible to trigger the Afflatus advantage buff given by Pragmatism, and use your teammate to keep accumulating dynamo to use for extra damage from skills. If you're playing the God team, then try to prepare Lucy, Getian and Vila's ult. You should try to get Vila into Rusalka as soon as possible so that you can start giving Getian Eureka and Moxie, facilitating his damage and ult charge. At the same time, try to use Six for buffs and debuffs and Getian's ultimate right before Lucy's. At this point you should have a full buffed time window for you to go all out. Of course, you don't have to follow this mindlessly, but having an attack plan always helps. Feel free to change order or strategy according to the encounter. Overall, Lucy is probably the best unit when it comes to value brought to the game. She's very versatile and does a ridiculous amount of damage, so if you have enough pulls, you should definitely try to pick her up. She'll be sure to be the fill-in unit that saves the day. This is it for Lucy Guide. If you have any question, feel free to leave a comment or come ask me live on twitch.tv/Jakazin. Good luck with your pulls and see you next time.